Hello, you're watching Atlanta Brickco TV, and welcome to Between the Studs. I'm your host, Mark. Today I've got Austin and Daniel.
Hello.
Hi.
You guys are two of our Harry Potter experts here at the store. If I ever have a question or something's not adding up, I come to either one of you, and you know the answer, because you guys have gone out of your way throughout your life to study this theme, and I appreciate that about you guys. It's great.
There's surprisingly few Harry Potter fans here at the store.
Less
I
than
was
you'd
surprised
expect.
to learn that Randy and Garrett were not really into it very much, but we're trying to work on them a little bit. We're trying to get him into it. Garrett's reading the books right now, so I think we'll get him.
We're getting him started.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It was just late last year. I watched all the movies all the way through to kind of be vaguely educated. However, my memory is not terrific, so I'm going to be a little bit foggy on some of the details, but I got the general concepts down. So
it's good when you work somewhere like this to do a little research, get your knowledge base up. Be an informed employee,
an educated employee.
Yeah,
I know most
part
of the main
employee
characters.
training.
Yeah,
I could be on the clock for it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's on a quiet day you can do some research on Harry
Yeah.
Potter and Star Wars and whatever else you need to be learning. But I at least know most of the main characters' names, so I shouldn't be that embarrassing for you guys. But
Hopefully,
Harry Potter's the theme of the video, but specifically we're talking about our 6 favorite figures, our favorite characters, and these are going to be some of the best ones we think, but these are more specific to us as individuals because we got some different selections here. But I'll go ahead and get started. Might as well start us off. But we'll each present, and we can also kind of each say, I would collect this figure, or I don't think this is the best Harry Potter figure you could have picked. I like to hear a little feedback, especially when Daniel's on the panel. So.
let's do it.
Oh yeah, you'll get your opinion. Don't worry.
Alrighty, the first figure I want to talk about is the centaur with quiver. There's a distinguishing thing with the quiver.
Okay.
But this is from 2020. It was in one set. It was actually, what was that set's name? It has the giant and the centaurs. Is the magical forest?
Forbidden Forest Grot.
That's it. See, that's why I have you guys.
And Umbridge,
Umbridge was there.
Order of the Phoenix.
For those listening on the podcast, the code on Bricklink you can type in to find this is HP236A. And the reason I picked the centaur above many other notable Harry Potter figures is because I'm a big fan of fantasy and mythology, especially like ancient Greek and Roman stuff. And this is kind of a callback to that theme and that concept, even though it is Harry Potter. The Forbidden Forest had a ton of magical creatures and crazy things going on, and the centaurs just run through on a random move. I'm trying to remember what it was that they did. They kind of rescued Harry Potter, right?
I think they did at some point with the spiders or something.
Yeah, they were like fighting the spiders or something.
The first time,
exactly,
Ferenz was his name. He was the
Ferenzi,
one. I think it was in the first one. It was when Harry, it was when Voldemort was in the woods drinking the unicorn blood. I think.
And then they reappear in the Order of the Phoenix when Dolores Umbridge is in the forest.
Yeah.
Anyway, all I know is it was a couple times in the forest.
You see him a lot more in the books, I think. Than the movies.
Yeah. But they were kind of a menacing presence. They had a very in the movie they were very intimidating. They were kind of you can't really see them that well. It's dark. They're big and really powerful. So
they're very tribal.
Yeah.
They study a lot. They do a lot with astrology and stuff and studying the stars. So they're definitely kind of a
mysterious,
tight-knit, mysterious group.
Yeah.
Well, Ferenzi actually in one of the books comes in and actually teaches divination class.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
They bring him in when they kick Trelawney out. Umbridge kicks her out, but they bring Ferenzi in because he got banished from his tribe.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a big fan of how the centaurs are presented. I'm a big fan of centaurs in general, and I think this is a really cool mold to introduce into the Lego catalog because before that you had to brick build these guys.
Well, and I think, did it first come in the CMF and then they did it?
I did some research. They came out in 2020. The CMF came out the next year. So
next year. Okay, so they did make it really pretty much for Harry Potter.
This was,
Okay.
It was made to feature in Harry Potter, but they did use it in CMF later, which is good because we have 2 different colors now. We have the dark brown here, and we have the dark orange in the CMF. So you could get a little variety if you wanted to. But I think it's a great figure, and just because of that kind of the different themes you could incorporate this in. You could have Greek centaurs, for example, ancient Greek stuff and mythology and things like that. I love this figure. But what do you guys think about the centaur figure? It is a very cheap figure.
You can get a lot of them.
It's pretty affordable. You can have a little squad of these.
Somebody out there needs to start army building these.
I know. I don't know why it seems underrated to me. So, what do you guys think? Would you collect this, or would you just not worry about this isn't your favorite? So.
I'd have one of them.
There you go.
It's $8, I think.
Yeah, I think we have them for $7.99.
I'm in.
Yeah. No, I think this is cool. It's nice that you get. Is that printing on the tail? I assume
it's actually a dual molded.
Oh, it is dual.
Yeah, because the inside is dark tan.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
No, this is nice. I think it's funny that you chose the one with quiver because I feel like this is those memes where it's like, if a centaur would wear a quiver, would it wear it like this or like this? But
Yeah.
I don't think like side saddle like this is one that I would think. It would be either on the dude's neck on the back, like a standard one, but I guess his hair is in the way.
I think that's the hairpiece
Or, like,
that
if you
prevents
think about
that.
the horse wearing it, it would be like straight on his back.
Well,
I
quivers
don't know.
were worn on the back and on the belt in history, so it could have been
Okay.
either one. But it's I do understand the confusion there. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right. So a double pass for the centaur. I appreciate
Yeah,
that, you
yeah,
guys.
that's
I do usually have the weird takes on this show, so
That was a good
There's
opening.
a couple that don't make sense. It's understandable.
You're doing all right.
There you go. What you got, Austin? What do you got?
HP 308, Nearly Headless Nick. This is the glow in the dark version, the better version.
Mm-hmm.
This appeared in
The correct version, one might say.
Yeah, one might say that. It appears in the Chamber of Secrets set from 2021, like one of the big modular sets. And I don't know. I've always, liked Lego molds when they're, the glow in the dark
For
pieces.
sure.
And so I think they took a good fig and made them great. Because it's a ghost, so I mean, like, it's going to glow in the dark or do something spooky. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's more accurate representation. Would y'all take this one or pass?
So-
It's also pretty cheap. I think it's like $12.
That's a tremendously great price for a fully glow-in-the-dark figure. I think only his hands aren't glow-in-the-dark, or maybe
Yeah.
they are too.
Have
But
not tested it myself.
we'll have to
I
do
think just the hands.
a picture after this. I think we got a black light in the back. We can shine on him and see how he goes. But this is a great figure. I would absolutely choose to collect this, even as like not a giant Harry Potter fan, just because I love glow-in-the-dark pieces. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Chrome for me. It's like one of those things that I could always have more pieces of and still be unsatisfied. But yeah, great pick, Austin.
And I think this was the first and still only pretty much full glow in the dark minifigure. So
Yeah.
definitely really neat from that perspective. I would definitely get this, and I think I already have it. I don't know. I'd
Mhm.
have to look at home.
Many a nights I've woken up and saw my Harry Potter collection, and I just see Nearly Headless Nick floating.
Little glowing spot.
Little glowing
That's
guy.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll remind you at night that they exist. They're like, hey,
Hey,
how you
yeah.
doing?
This is great, and I think it works really well for him because, like, in the first early ones, the ghosts are very kind of like silvery and shiny and
Mhm.
kind of have
Black
a
and
little bit of a
whitish.
glow about them. So I think it works really well for that. But as a segue, I'll do a different ghost that they
Myrtle.
did. We got Moaning Myrtle here. This is the one from the collectibles series. So this is Cole HP2, so from series 2-14. So I think this one's really interesting because though she's not glow in the dark, they did her in this kind of sand blue, dark blue, and light aqua, I guess, color scheme, which I think is really cool. So what I like about this one is I think this is how a lot of people would like to see like Star Wars Ghost minifigures done, Force Ghost minifigs.
Yes.
And so I think this kind of would lend itself really well to that if they ever choose to do that. This was one of the first ways they chose to interpret a ghost as a Lego figure. And I think it works really well because a lot of the scenes that she's in some of the later movies, it's usually kind of dark and moonlit, and so it is more kind of blue tones as opposed to like the glowing kind of silvery versions you see in like the first two, which I think works better for Nearly Headless Nick. So though they've portrayed these two ghosts in very different ways, I think they work well respectively for each of the characters in the movies they show up in.
Yeah, the appearance makes total sense within the context of where they show up because he's
For sure.
kind of like flying around the hall in a pretty well lit area. When Moaning Myrtle shows up, she's actually pretty
In the urinals.
like in the bathrooms. She's pretty visible. It's not like she's as transparent as the other ones
She's,
were.
yeah, she's a mostly major character in the second one where she does have a little bit more of that silvery look. But like when she shows up again later in, was it the fourth one when he's in the bath and she's being all weird? It's very kind of like dark and
When he's trying to
moonlit
get open
blue
the
tones.
egg.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of blue
exactly.
tones.
So,
I think
but-
that works. And she's also really cheap. You can get her for like $10.
Here's the thing, though, Daniel. Because of the character, I probably would be less interested in this
Yeah,
figure. She's just not my
she's
favorite.
Not
She's-
everybody's cup of tea. She's pretty.
She's a
annoying.
great character. It's just
Yeah.
not my favorite character. So I
She's
probably
a-
wouldn't choose to have this on my shelf to remind me of the creepy moments in the
That's
bathroom.
fair.
You know?
That's fair.
She's a weird woman for sure.
So Austin,
Yeah.
do you have this in your collection, or is this?
I think I have the other variant.
Okay.
Like
The gray one.
But you have a Moaning Myrtle at home.
Unfortunately, I may have traded her in.
That's good to know. Okay.
I'd rather not have Moaning Myrtle in my room.
Yeah. I gotcha. But it's still a good figure and a very cool execution of that figure. So, next one I can present here is Neville Longbottom, and according to Bricklink, this is the Fair Isle sweater, and I don't really know which version this is. I think this has got to be towards the last movie, right? Because he's holding the sword of
That
Gryffindor.
would be the very last one. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like final battle. For
Exactly.
Neville.
That's
Definitely how it
seems
was.
to remember. Although he's not as kind of disheveled looking as he was during that
Yeah,
scene.
he had a fair bit of blood on him.
Yeah, he had a few scuffs and scratches for sure.
It's an
Yeah.
advent calendar fig.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. That's exactly, Austin. This is from one set, the Advent Calendar, and it came with the sword. I think it was just this in the package. That's all you got was this. Maybe a minifig stand too. But the code for those listening at home is HP370. And I am a big fan of this particular sword piece because my background is in Lego Castle, and this is probably the most detailed medieval-looking accessory we've ever gotten, and it's in Harry Potter. It's the Sword of Gryffindor. And it's got those cool red-looking gems on the guard and the pommel, so it's sick. And anytime I can talk about this sword, I will on Harry Potter videos.
I'm sure a lot of other Castle fans will use this in their mocks, like either hung up on their great walls or their armories or
Every
suits
now
of
and then,
armor.
it's not as common as you'd think.
Interesting.
I think that's kind of slept on again, like the centaurs. It's
Really?
like, why isn't there?
It's not inherently. I mean, it's designed to look like the one from Harry Potter, but like you wouldn't know it necessarily looking at the
it's
context of a mock.
It's a pretty usable mold in almost any kind of fantasy sword context. So,
For sure.
but yeah, it's very cool. And I have a couple of these, but I also haven't had any mocks to include them in yet. I haven't touched Castle in a while, but need to get back to it.
It's a shame that dual molding and chrome never overlapped during Lego's history. Just to get a chrome one of these with those red gemstones.
Oh.
That'd be cool.
Woo, would be spicy.
I'd be losing my mind. Anyway, the nice thing is this. I think it came out in a CMF initially. I think it came with Grip Hook, whom I've also talked about on CMF videos. But it's worth noting that instead of keeping this into like a very expensive bracket by only producing it once and leaving it, they've used it a couple different times.
Yeah.
And because of that, this figure is only, I think we sell it for $7.99 with the accessory.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
It's an affordable
yeah.
cool sword, yeah.
Exactly. For that, you can get probably 2 or 3 of these, no problem, and have a couple of these cool swords and a few extra Nevilles if you wanted to. Cheap and underrated again. Some of my favorite Harry Potter figures are, like, I think, slept on. Do you guys have Neville with the sword in your collection? Do you have the sword? Would you guys choose to have this in your collection? Start with Austin. What do you think?
I think it's the best, one of the best Nevilles.
Mm-hmm.
I like the older Neville. They have some weird variants that I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like Neville.
Kid
but-
Neville is a little nerdy looking.
Yeah,
But,
stuff like the herbology, like earmuffs. I don't like that, but I like that one for sure.
yeah, this is his finest hour, and he got a great
I don't know
story
what
arc,
kind of
so-
smolder he's making on his face though. That's a little.
Yeah, he's looking. Well, I think he has a concerned face in the back too. So
See, that face
can
is a little
change
weird too. I don't know.
He needs like a yelling face.
He
Like
has
when
some- Yeah.
I mean, spoiler
I
alert,
think he
dove
has-
and cut the head off the snake.
I think he has some weird face printing, so I wouldn't have it.
Mhm.
That's my opinion.
Not
on
the
Neville.
ideal
on
Neville.
I
Okay.
don't think they did Neville's face printing good at all
Mhm.
for any of this.
He had such a glow up in that by the time you got to that movie.
Yeah,
I
Neville's
think
the hero,
They
man.
still did him a little dirty and
Yeah,
kind of gave him the goofy,
they did him wrong.
the big buck teeth.
Yeah, they're giving him his teenage appearance in the face,
Yeah.
but
Did my man Neville dirty.
A little bit.
Well, Daniel, do you have this figure? You have the sword?
I'll be with you on the sword. I wouldn't collect this minifig though. I mean, he's
Gotcha.
he's alright. He's pretty plug standard character.
It's worth mentioning, if you get Neville with the sword, this is the cheapest way to get the sword, I think, at the store, besides
Okay.
just buying it separately. I don't think we have it separately.
yeah, because I'm sure the grip hook has a lot more exclusive parts.
He's
to
like
it,
a
so he's
$12,
little pricier.
$15 figure, I think, on our
Yeah.
website.
That's
So,
pretty good.
yeah, interesting figure. We got a half pass on that one.
There you go.
I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll take any small victory I can.
There you
It's
go.
good. What's the second figure you want to present, Austin?
HP 73 Lucius. I'm gonna be honest. I just pulled this one out of the case because I thought it looked cool.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's why we're here.
It's Lucius with a pinstripe suit, but I like it has the face printed Death Eater mask on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought it was a cool figure. I looked it up on Bricklink. It says something like cannot be inventoried. There's no like
Oh, interesting.
price guide, so maybe it's.
Weird.
I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some weird stuff going on with that Graveyard Duel set because that Voldemort has like 4 sub variants. It's
I
like
know.
An A, B, C, and D.
Maybe they don't like it
I don't
anymore,
know.
but I think it's a cool looking fig. I think it represents Lucius well.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the slick back blonde hair and the mask. So I like this one for sure. Would y'all take it? I think it's like $50 too.
It's
so
expensive.
it may be from the graveyard set.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, one thing I saw when you took off the hairpiece, first of all, it's a great, cool death mask, and then you can switch it around and you got the face.
He's got a cool cape too, like the Dementor dual-sided cape.
I love that expression on the other side too, though. So it's like a
very
really,
very snide kind of expression.
really good representation of the character, and then you got that cool suit underneath. He looks like a monster, and then it's like, oh, he's actually it's Lucius in this cool suit.
Yeah.
So I love the duality of that character in this figure. So it's very cool. Maybe I know Bricklink has been merging some variants lately, or talking about doing that. So that might have been what happened, and why this particular one.
I would love to talk about it more. I couldn't find too much information on it.
I'm sure there's at least a version of this figure on Bricklink. It might have just been changed up. We need to update our side of the technology on that. So.
Cool.
But what do you think, Daniel?
I do like this one. I think I probably have him. If he is from the Graveyard dual set, I mean, I had that one when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
What bothered me for a little while was the way that they did Death Eater masks changed a lot from year to year. There's like a lot of inconsistency in the ways they've been portrayed, which, I mean, is reflective of the movies. I think this was one of the first times they did it, though, and it still holds up. It's really fantastic getting this kind of ornate, almost metal-looking mask. So I think it's a really good fig. And those classic kind of Dementor tattered, I guess robes, since they go over the front and back, work really well.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Great figure. Double approval for Austin on number 2.
Yeah.
We'll take it. All right.
Good.
What you got, Daniel?
Let's go with a creature over here. I'm going to go with the Mer person. This was from a pretty recent set. I think this was last year.
Yeah.
Last year,
Triwizard, right?
From the Triwizard tournament. A great set that we've never really seen represented quite that way before, with like the tower above. We definitely had the underwater part in an earlier set from, it was probably like 2004.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a big upgrade for this character over the previous version of the mermaid. The earlier one was fantastic, too. It had a really scary face. It had that same hair that Lucius had, but in dark red, and the sort of classic mermaid tail. But this is a really great upgrade to that. This is a lot more screen accurate, I think. Getting this sort of swept hair makes it look very underwater, and this new sort of curved tail piece. The face is definitely a lot more accurate, so I just love this all around. The set was a huge upgrade over an already really fantastic kind of out there set.
There were some great figs, too.
The figs just reflective of that, too. So this was just a fantastic upgrade. This is HP 417, and you can still get this also for about like $10. That's just what most figs go for, kind of right out of the box for those mid-sized sets.
Yeah.
So.
Austin, what you think about the Mer person?
Thumbs up for me. I have it.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
own it.
Yeah.
And I traded in some Harry Potter figs recently because I had some overflow, and I kept that one because I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely green thumb.
It makes the cut for you then. That's
it does.
Good.
It
That's
makes
awesome.
the cut.
This is one that I need to acquire because this is a sick-looking minifig. And I know that Steven and to some extent myself are working on some Atlantis-themed creations.
Okay, yeah.
And this would make a very
must.
very good,
And at least the hairpiece, too.
Absolutely.
And the bottom, you could change the torso.
Yeah, exactly. Some customization probably necessary there, but it's great figure. Very cool molds being... is this the introduction of these pieces or just the evolution of these pieces?
I'm not sure if the hair or the tail were new for...
They look newer, though, because they haven't been around forever.
They're definitely new within the last year or two. I don't
Yeah.
know if this was the first usage of it or not, though.
Wouldn't be surprised. Somebody can check us in the comments if they know off the top of their head. But that's great figure, Daniel. Double approval. Awesome.
Sweet.
Good job.
You guys are knocking it out of the park here. All right. Let's see if I can... Oh, no. Never mind. Next figure we got is...
First Dobby.
This is Dobby, and in parentheses, Elf Light Nougat on Bricklink is what it's called. But it's Dobby, and this is the slightly older version of Dobby because the latest version, while well executed, I feel is a little bit too clean, and his eyes are too small and normal looking. The Dobby in the movies,
smoothed over. He got Botox.
They gave Dobby the glow up in the minifigure treatment, and it's just this really captures that freakish look, this terrifying bulging eyes of the original movies, and so this Dobby really captures the character for me the best. This is actually not a super affordable figure anymore because he came out in 2010. One set, and I would say that this is has the same problem as the rubberized Yoda heads, where the eyes and in this case, Dobby doesn't have any hair to show, but those eyes can be rubbed away because it's rubber and it's very soft rubber, so you're not scratching or poking too hard. But because of that, it's fragile, and I think that contributes to his value. If he's not in new condition, you might not be seeing his eyes.
Yeah.
So I love this figure. I love Dobby. I don't think I have a Dobby, so I need to collect probably this one at some point. But do you guys have any Dobbies in your collection? Would you even choose to go out of your way to get Dobby? I know he's an extremely controversial character. I'm on Dobby's side. I was laughing every time Dobby was on screen. It was really capturing my attention. What do you guys feel? Was this the worst part of Harry Potter for you guys? I'm looking at Daniel.
I mean, I have sort of a love-hate relationship with Dobby. I mean, it's like you definitely feel for him in the end, but man, he was annoying. All that aside, though, I mean, this is arguably still, and probably for a while, going to be the most accurate depiction of Dobby. But like you said, it kind of suffers from the same fate as some of those Yodas or Kit Fistos, where they were printing on these rubber pieces, and it just rubs off with time. But the sculpting on this is fantastic. He's got these huge bug eyes and this really long pointed nose.
Very sharp features.
Which is fantastic. Yeah, it's a great representation of Dobby, regardless of what you think about the character.
Yeah, there you go.
If I have any Dobbies, it would probably only be the OG one, 2001 or 2 version.
The first version of Dobby, which is not bad. It's just this
Similar
is similar
head, but unprinted, and I think it's just tan, probably.
Yeah. So you wouldn't choose to collect this, though.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But if you want a Dobby, this is.
You do approve of the figure. You just wouldn't get it yourself.
This is the one to get.
There you go.
Dobby.
What do you think, Austin? How do you
I
feel
have
about
a
Dobby?
new one. I probably like this one better, not because I like it, but because it's more accurate. I think Dobby's a weird character.
Yeah.
You're not a Dobby fan?
I mean, it's really sad when he dies in the end.
Spoiler! Oh man!
Jeez, we should. Okay, spoiler warning. Yeah, more spoilers are ahead. Probably.
Yeah, tell him after.
Yeah.
The spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
You're not a Dobby fan. I get it. I know that's one of the hot topics here. Is, are you a fan of Dobby? If you're a Harry Potter fan, great. There's a couple of us here in the store, but after that, are you a Dobby fan? That's really where it gets dicey.
I would love to see the numbers on that Lego Dobby set they came out with. I want to see if that's actually sold.
Yeah. Oh, the brick built one.
The scary one.
I can't imagine that's doing that well because I love Dobby, and even I was like, eh. Somebody gave me that set, and I kept it.
The thing about Dobby's character arc is they write him to make you hate him in the early ones, and then in the end they make you feel bad for hating him. It's like that sad character. It's like of Mice and Men with Lenny or something. It's like the annoying character, but then you feel bad for their plight in the end.
It's a guilt trip. That's what it is. Yeah,
they guilt you out of it. It's like if they killed off Jar Jar and made it this big sad sub story in the end.
Jar Jar and Dobby are
like,
probably
well, you didn't
related.
like him. All right, we'll get rid of him, but we're gonna make you cry about it.
Make you feel bad about yourself. Yeah. Well, moving on. Austin, what do we got here?
All right, we got the gold Dumbledore.
Ooh.
This one is a little bit harder to find. You have to get it from the collector's Hedwig
The giant sculptural build of Hedwig.
thing
Yeah.
that you set on the books.
Not the medium-sized one with the flapping wings.
No, that one's cooler.
The
in my
epic
opinion.
Hedwig, though. The one that's got the big wings all spread out. Yeah.
With all the books and the little potion bottles and stuff.
It's all right. I mean, it's all right. You know what I mean? That's not.
That's one of my favorite sets. It's awesome.
That's a discussion for another.
Anyway,
Okay.
we're talking about figures today,
But
right?
they didn't just put one of these in there. Didn't they put 3
I'm not sure.
exclusive ones in there? I think it
I
was
don't know,
him
but I do know that this is
Hagrid and
That's where he's from.
my favorite like gold edition fig that they did.
Yeah.
I know they did some like 20-year anniversary for like Snape and all those guys too.
Mhm.
This one's one of the more expensive ones too. It's $50. That's what we have it for.
Collectible,
So-
yeah.
And I just looked at Dumbledore was one of my favorite characters, so I looked at all of his different molds and variants, and this is my favorite one
Mhm.
that we have because I think it's just cool.
Yeah, I think you see other themes do golden figures as well, like Ninjago, but I think Harry Potter, they actually seem kind of meaningful and also make sense within the theme, like having these cool little statuettes, like the chocolate frog. You know, there's little sculptural statuesque things in Harry Potter, and that really connects for me. So I really love this version of Dumbledore. It's great. So
Yeah.
It was a good kind of, go after him, chase him all kind of thing, marketing thing that Lego did. But I think it is weird that they locked some of the best characters in the biggest set. So I'm pretty sure it was like the Dumbledore, the McGonagall, and the Hagrid were all exclusive to that set. So if you're just buying one of the other standalone sets, like I think one of the only ones I got from that wave was the chessboard.
Mhm.
So it comes with Harry, Ron, and Hermione from the chess scene, and then a random gold Snape.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
was
could have
like,
done a little better.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I ended up trading him in because I'm like, what am I going to do with one gold Snape? I'm not going to go collect all these other ones that are where some of them are $50 a piece.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. It felt a little weird to me, but some of the figures we got were great. This one is fantastic. It's just unfortunate how expensive he is already.
Yeah,
Sadly.
keeping a lot in a big set is definitely a sneaky.
If they had done just Dumbledore, I think it would have been one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if like it would have came in that Fox set, like the smaller one, that would have made a lot more sense.
That would have made sense too. Yeah. Well, you're right.
Pass or take?
I definitely would still choose to collect this. I like any figure that has an unusual color, like glow in the dark or gold.
It looks like a statue, which I like.
Yeah, I think it's super
Which
cool.
fits the collector's set that it came with.
Even got the gold
Absolutely,
minifig
yeah.
stand. They're going all out. So
Yeah. No, these are great. I love this hat-hair combo that they introduced a few years back for the sort of early version of Dumbledore, which is just fantastic.
it's great.
Agreed.
All right, double approval there.
Yep.
That's good. All right, moving on. Dan.
All right, let's go. We'll go with a funny one. We'll go with Snape in Neville's grandma's clothing. So this is actually not Severus Snape. This is a creature called a boggart, which takes on the form of your deepest fears when you see it, or when it sees you. So this is a boggart which, when Neville sees it, turns into Professor Snape, which he's deathly afraid of, and then he casts the counter curse, which is ridiculous, on the boggart, and to make it goofy, it turns into his grandma's clothing, which is like a cat fur scarf, which is kind of morbid. I mean, usually you see like mink or fox or
A
something.
taxidermy cat on her shoulder. Yeah.
And it's got like a dead mouse in its mouth. So this one's like a little weird and morbid, but I think it's hilarious. And then he's got this hat on and a red sort of handbag. So just a very bizarre fig. This is HP 173, and this came in a, I think, Toys R Us exclusive, one of those like 4 minifigure boxes. It had him and one of the first Slughorn minifigures we ever got.
Yep.
And then who else was in that one? I think it was
I can't
Umbridge.
remember their names. I
There
want to
was
say like a
Professor
Queenie
Umbridge.
Goldstein or something like that, but I may be wrong.
I think there was a book, but yeah.
Yeah. It was. I think it was Umbridge, Snape, Slughorn, and some fourth one. I can't remember. Anyway, so because he came in that, he's a little harder to get. If you buy him by himself, he might be like $20. We do have the whole set of 4 figs, which you can get here for like $50, which is not bad considering that all of them were, I believe, exclusive to that.
Yeah, and Toys R Us isn't really around anymore, so that
That's
also it's good to still have those
Unfortunately.
available. Yeah, sadly.
It's a good minifigure pack. I have one of these with all 4 of them just because some of them were really cool figures, especially this one, because I had the original Defense Against the Dark Arts set that came with the earlier version of this where he had like a sand green outfit and again kind of the weird printed fur coat thing on. So
they've made this character multiple times.
Yeah,
in Lego,
this is only the second time we've got him, but this is a really nice upgrade and kind of an homage throwback to that original one.
Yeah, I
Very
like
cool.
it. More abstract than normal.
For sure. A little
Yeah.
off the beaten path.
Yeah, Daniel, I wouldn't choose to collect this
You
because I
would?
think it's just
Oh,
weird.
come
It's
on.
too weird for
It's
me.
such
I'm
a
You
sorry.
gotta be a
Outfit,
true
though.
Harry Potter fan to understand the lore.
That's my problem. I'm not
behind
quite
the
there
outfit.
yet.
You could
guys.
use this for other stuff, though. You could make Neville's grandma.
Or your grandma.
Or you.
Exactly, yeah.
Or some
no.
other weird lady
For
with a
sure.
fur coat.
I love the old lady vibes with the taxidermy cat. It's hilarious,
Definitely.
but I wouldn't find any
I
practical
think
use for
in the
this.
movie he also had, there was like a bird on top of the head.
Probably, yeah, that- I
need
do
to-
remember,
I need
yeah.
to go and get one of those little crow pieces from, what was it, Lone Ranger?
Yep,
And
yep.
Stick that on here. I don't think it originally came with one. Maybe,
Good
maybe,
grief.
There's a hole
maybe
in the
this one's
hat.
missing it. Maybe,
Maybe
it's missing
so.
it. I don't know. I'll have to look.
It's doable easily now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd buy it. Thank you for presenting it.
There you
Welcome.
go.
I'm glad you like
I
it.
mixed one because I'm a stickler for just interesting
It's
things.
so many
I guess.
unique pieces, though. I mean, I'm pretty sure these
Yeah.
fur coat things, they're very common now, but I'm pretty sure they were relatively new at the time.
That was a pretty rare
The
piece for me.
handbag is cool in dark red.
Yeah.
I think it's the Friends handbag, so it means we
Yeah.
usually get it in pink
Realistic
and
color.
medium
yeah.
azure.
That is a good color for that piece. But yeah, I'm sorry, Daniel, you're not going to be able to convince me.
All right, that's
But
fine.
on the flip side of that, I also have a Snape figure that I want to present to you guys. This is Professor Severus Snape.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because I've
Snape.
Severus Snape.
Because he's in Slytherin.
And
He's a
this
snake.
is with the glow-in-the-dark head. This is an older version of this figure. And I didn't know a lot about Harry Potter as a kid. I wasn't very exposed to it. Wasn't even allowed to read the books. But I was one of those kids. But I remember reading the Lego magazines and seeing Snape in there. I'm like, that guy must be the baddest guy on planet Earth because he's like all black. He's got a purple details on his torso.
Ah,
He's got
joke's
the
on
exploder
you. He
head.
turns out to be a good guy.
I
kind
know.
of, sort of, kind
Plot
of.
twist.
The way they presented him
Spoiler.
was so unusual. He looks like a zombie with ghost powers. It's like he's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Again,
it's
they
over
made
the
a
top.
character that was hateable, and then they make you really sad about hating him in
It's
the
like,
end.
dang, he lost
Yeah.
the love of his life.
Yeah,
And he got,
'cause Harry
and
Potter,
he got bullied.
Harry Potter likes to do that. They like to make you feel bad for hating people.
I think it's a
Yeah.
pattern with J.K. Rowling's writing
Yeah.
style, maybe. Anyway, but this is I really like the character of Snape. I think he was fantastic in the movies. I haven't read the books, but one day I'll get to them. For those watching at home, HP 012. And from 2001 to 2003, this figure was produced in 4 different sets. For that reason, he's relatively approachable in price. I think we have him for like 15, 20 maybe. He's not too bad. And I think I'm a big stickler for glow in the dark. I like the character. And as a kid, I thought this was the most menacing thing ever. What kind of nostalgia do you guys have for the early Harry Potter figures, particularly Snape?
I do have nostalgia for these. For a long time, this is just what Lego Snape looked like, so it's kind of hard for me to see past it and how inaccurate it is.
It's
by
completely inaccurate. Yeah,
it's just how it was for a long time.
Yeah.
They
very fanciful.
They used those glow in the dark faces for him probably for at least the first 3 or 4 years of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So it's just how it was. It's wild. It doesn't make any sense, but that's how it was. I guess he's kind of pale and spooky, but I don't know.
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, I was about to say this before your time then, Austin. So
Yeah.
you don't have any nostalgia for this figure necessarily.
No, but I think it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different to the yellow-faced characters that were coming out at the time.
Yes.
Isn't there a sand green version of Snape?
Yes,
kinda
it's
like sand green robes.
Well, I think that's the
I think
grandma
you're
version.
thinking of the early version of this one that came in the Defense Against the Dark
He also
Arts.
has a
Yeah.
glow in the dark head in that version of him. Oh,
I'm
that
sure he
the
would.
boggart. Yeah.
So that was as late as 2004. So yeah, that means they were doing it for at least 3 or 4 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting figure, but I think we'll call that a mild approval then, because you guys are both like, yeah, it's interesting.
It's historical.
Yeah, exactly.
Great try.
All right, great.
It's not as good as the Snape that came in that Order of the Phoenix, that really rare version of the
Oh, with the
castle.
weird face, yeah.
He's got a weird face, but a lot of people today say it's still the most kind of accurate depiction of Alan Rickman's face. That one's a really
I
good
saw
one.
that one.
That's my
I was
favorite.
thinking about them, but I barely even remember that figure.
This
So
is weird,
yeah.
yeah.
I distinctly remember and have nostalgia for this one, so that's
Yeah.
why I picked it. But that one is obviously worth mentioning
For
too,
sure.
so. What you got here, Austin?
All right. HP 70, Mad Eye Moody, from arguably the best older Harry Potter set.
Gosh, you want mine? I'll sell it to you.
Huh? You got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Well,
man.
tell us what it is
Unless
first. I
already
don't know what you're
treated
talking
you.
about.
Yeah.
It's the Hungarian Horntail
There you
from
go.
2005.
Oh,
2000. Sorry, I didn't mean to slam the table. I got excited there.
You got-
Got
From
big
2000
muscles, you can't control.
2005.
2005. And it is awesome because
Mhm.
it comes with the actual Horntail,
Yeah, the big dragon, the
the
molded,
molded
Yeah.
one.
That's what most of the set was.
This-
There was barely anything else to it.
I mean, yeah, but it's 2005. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I especially love this Mad Eye Moody just because I think it stays true to his character.
Mhm.
I mean, if you look deeply at his face, he's got all those scars, and he's got the eye patch with the fake eye. I like how they did, the peg leg. I don't know, were they doing peg legs back in 2005? at the time?
They were, but they were always brown. So having it in
Yeah.
silver is really special.
Okay, it's like a newer thing. I don't know. I just think it's a great figure, and I especially love the set, so that's why I picked that one.
Mm-hmm. So you, as a big fan of that particular set, that figure really stands out to you and has a nostalgic
Absolutely.
memory for you. So that's good.
Because it's my favorite Harry Potter book and movie, The Goblet of Fire. So Mad Eye
Yeah.
Moody is a big character in that,
Oh yeah,
and I was pretty sad when he died. Spoiler.
yeah. This is a really good execution of the figure for that time because they weren't doing like custom molded hair for every character like they do now. So having,
I will say the hairpiece is a little wonky.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
it's as close as they had back then. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
That's the only complaint I have about it.
Yeah. What do you think, Danielle? What's catching you about this figure?
This was really good for the time. He's got a really detailed torso, and like you said, all those face details, and them recoloring the peg leg was a genius kind of move. I think by today's standards, they're mostly just recoloring standard minifigure legs, because his leg was,
Shaped.
molded to look like a human leg. So, by Lego's design standards, it would make sense to still do it as a regular leg. But this was a great way to portray it at the time, because they probably weren't molding other minifig parts in, was that flat silver or pearl light gray or something at the time. This was fantastic for the time period. It worked really well in 2005. I think
Mhm.
it was a little ahead of its time.
Yeah, they were really starting to get a grasp of some cool figures back then for sure. So.
Yeah.
What you got, Daniel? What's your next one?
Gosh, I didn't even think about what I want to do next. All right, I'll do my joke one.
There you go.
We'll do Horace Slughorn armchair variant. This is HP 374. This came in an advent calendar. Really, it's listed as a minifigure, but it really only has 2 minifigure parts. It's just a head and a hair.
And a couch.
And a couch. Yeah, can't forget the couch. This is like only $5 because it's like barely even a minifig because
Yeah.
it doesn't have minifig parts. But I think this is so funny that they chose to do it.
You don't want to sleep on that one for sure.
No, I don't want to sleep on it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, okay.
That's good. That's good. No, this is perfect for an advent calendar inclusion because like they're probably never gonna make a set of like that random person's living room that he was in.
He was disguised as
so
furniture. Yeah.
No, I think this is hilarious.
I think someone should do a mock of a giant couch with like you know how they have the big buildable Harry Potter figures.
Yeah.
They should take
Oh,
a head
yeah.
and put it on top.
Giant Slughorn head.
Just
Yeah.
a giant Slughorn
The
couch.
UCS Slughorn armchair.
The UCS slug. I will put
That's
that Lego
funny.
ideas. UCS
That's good.
slug.
They would get 10,000 votes quickly, I can assure you. That's
Yeah.
great. But no, this is a hilarious figure. Because of the affordability of this, I would also be very tempted to get this just because it's random and silly and stupid.
This was from, what, Order of the Phoenix? No.
No,
later,
it's
right?
the
Half-Blood
Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
Whenever
Mhm.
you
That's
know
right.
Dumbledore's going to find him.
Yeah, he was
'Cause-
in disguise.
Yeah,
He was in hiding.
they thought he was dead, but he wasn't.
Yeah, there was something. There was like blood dripping from the ceiling.
Dragon's blood.
Dragon's blood. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm. Interesting.
I've
Yeah.
read the books too many times.
I'm glad I have the experts here to talk about all these little intricate details.
I enjoyed that
I
one.
read Deathly Hallows. I need to go back and read that one.
That's good. But yeah, Austin, would you choose to collect the Slughorn figure?
Sure. I mean,
For $5,
That's
yeah.
generous of you, Austin. I don't think I would choose to collect this figure, and I'm the one who chose it.
I would never buy this, but if it came in a set that I got, what set did? Oh, the Advent
Advent
calendar.
calendar, yeah.
So it's
I would
kind
never
of a
have an
throwaway.
Advent calendar, so therefore I would not have the fig.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think it's funny.
So partial approval on that one.
Yeah.
However, it's worth mentioning that 2 Advent calendars so far have made it into the
I don't
the
understand
top
that.
6 of
Well, I
our
mean, this
figures.
is sort of their way
It
of
was a-
cheating in the Advent calendar, being like, "Oh, this one's a minifigure," but like, not really. It's
Stop
mostly
playing.
just basic
It's
parts.
just a head.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they're going to put
These
24 figures in a set
mid-transformation.
like that. Yeah. So.
yeah.
All right. Well, circling back to me, I don't think I think most of my figures are somewhat jokish. This one's, I guess, not really. Kind of. I don't know. Anyway, this is the only Harry Potter figure on the table, I think. Right? Yeah. So no one else has picked a Harry Potter figure because they're all pretty plain.
Out
There's
of
lots
the-
of them.
Out of the 100 different variants.
Yeah,
that they
exactly. But this is Harry Potter in pajamas, and they don't really specify it, but he's wearing the Cloak of Invisibility. He's the collectible minifig series version, not the set version. They're very similar, but a slight difference. I think this one has pajamas. I think the set version doesn't have pajamas. It has a normal outfit underneath. But I'm a big fan of the Cloak of Invisibility, that concept, and the execution in those earlier movies, because Harry Potter, the first one, released in 2001, and back then that was the Wild West of special effects and technology. So that being executed that well and holding up, reasonably well today is extremely impressive and would have been mind blowing back
I
then.
mean, it was
So
a pretty simple green screen trick the way they did it.
yeah, but it's the way that it was executed. It was
Yeah,
well done, and
for
so
sure.
everything in those earlier Harry Potter movies, like the stairs moving, the pictures, lots of fun concepts being presented. So I just really like the way that was presented, and I like the way this is executed because you got this very shiny metallic cape. It's not a mirror, but it's kind of got that concept going on. So I like this. Everything about this I just find creative and interesting. But what do you guys think about the Cloak of Invisibility and those, the way it was executed in both the movie and Lego? So.
I think this is pretty good. The way it was done in the movie was obviously great. It worked pretty much perfectly for the time.
Mm-hmm.
Lego, however, has had sort of a long, sad history of attempting to recreate the invisibility cloak.
Yeah, the old ones aren't as well.
The very first version, I think, in 2001 or 2002, was just Harry had a purple cape with
Oh,
stars
gosh.
on it instead of all the rest of them just had black capes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got ones that were just sort of these like domes of like this glittery kind of fabric.
Like a mesh, yeah.
But they're like horribly brittle and they just like disintegrate over time. We're always needing to replace those. They get so tattered up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely the best so far because you get the really nice inside printing with that sort of ornate kind of pattern, and then the outside you get that. It's more like an iridescent kind of finish too. You're getting a lot of extra kind of colors and
Yeah,
stuff.
kind of
going on
rainbowy look,
there.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think this is pretty much as good as it's gonna get.
Until they do
Unless
the invisible one,
we
down the road.
yeah, if we get like the nanotechnology or like
In
whatever they use on, like,
2049,
the
yeah.
stealth bombers and stuff, where it can like
You know those little clear,
project a picture of what's on the
the
other
little
side.
clear like poles with the 1x1 at the bottom. You can just like just put the head on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hovering head, yeah.
Hovering head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be like about like this arm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're almost there, but
I'm
yeah.
down.
So, would you guys choose to collect this though? Would you add? Do you have this, or would you choose to collect it?
I think I've had it at one point.
But it didn't make the cut, maybe.
It's cool. It's just like, I don't know. They've really killed my joy of Harry Potter figs because none of them are really exclusive anymore.
They're hundreds of they're overproduced maybe.
Yeah.
There's a few, but you know.
The main characters are not super exciting anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's too bad. Oh.
I think this is, again, it's like Dobby. This is the best execution of a thing that we have, but I don't know that I really need to have
It's
it.
not speaking to you on the same level as some other people. I gotcha. So, well, we'll take it's good looking, but we would have collected it now. That's
there you
fine.
go.
So, what you got, Austin?
All right. I got HP 242. This is more of an abstract figure. The Tom Riddle figure. So, for those of you who have not read the books or watched the movies, Tom Riddle is a.k.a. Voldemort.
Spoilers! Good grief,
Spoilers.
Austin.
Oh, man. Austin, at least put all the letters up on the screen and rearrange them. Come on.
Yeah, it's spelled...
I'll see what I can do.
word scramble.
Just so many good
Jeez.
names of that.
I'll put the spoiler warning before Austin speaks on each of his figures.
Yeah,
so.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
No, go ahead, Austin.
All right.
Sorry.
Let's see.
It's Tom Riddle, and
Yeah,
yeah.
he's Voldemort, so he's a bad guy. But he comes only in books. Like, he never came in a set. He was exclusive to a few different books. So, not a lot of people have him. He's like $30, I think, so he's more of an expensive figure.
Harder to find.
Yeah, but I'm into it because just of how generic a lot of Harry Potter figures are. I like when they do something a little bit outside the box.
Yeah, collectible, rare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's a cool figure.
Yeah.
Because Tom Riddle, is seen in like flashbacks in the movie. He's obviously in the form of Voldemort in present time. So it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So.
What's interesting, before we started filming, you showed me your figures. I'm like, wait, who's that? It looked like a mean version of Cedric, but no, it's Tom
People
Riddle.
do confuse
Yeah.
because of Cedric Diggory.
The hairpiece is
pretty
similar.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about you, Daniel? You like this figure?
I do like this one. I think this is a good version of him. The earliest versions of him were even more basic and could be easily confused with any one of the other kind of yellow-faced versions of him. I do wish they would do one where he's almost got like a little bit of that like ghostly kind of flashback look about him, sort of the way that they did it in the movies. But I don't know if we'll ever get anything like that. But it's a cool inclusion for sure.
So what you're saying is he should have looked more like the ghost Snape, and Snape should have been a little bit more human looking.
I don't know if I would say she should be quite like that ghostly, but I don't know if they could do something with the printing where it makes him look
Paler,
like a little like fuzzy around the edges or something. I don't know.
He did look a little pasty in the movies.
Yeah, they were pretty.
He's a troubled young man.
When he was like in the Chamber of Secrets, I think he just looked normal. But when they did like the flashback to when Moaning Myrtle died, it sort of had this weird kind of like fuzzy, glowy effect to it.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, a great figure there, Austin, and that's cool that he came. He wasn't like a set, easily off the shelf buyable figure. You had to kind of find a weird book.
From a book.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Because the only thing you could include him in as a set is pretty much ever going to be the Chamber of Secrets, which we've only had 2 versions of ever. So
Yeah.
They're not going
that we haven't seen him a ton.
Not going to circle back to that every year. Yeah. So, but Daniel, what's the next one you got on your list here?
Next, let's go with. All right, let's go with this lumpy boy over here.
So you said that the Slughorn was your joke figure, but I'm kind of starting
No,
to...
this one's genuine. This one's genuine.
He's clothed.
He is clothed.
Usually he comes in.
This is I had to bring this one in from the personal collection because we don't have any right now with the cloth on them. We just got a whole bin full of naked trolls with their warts hanging out. So
we didn't want to get censored.
This is a 2002 version. Surprisingly, up until this point, I've had a lot of modern figures, which is unusual for me. But I think for Harry Potter, I like some of the more modern versions than the classic ones. But this came in the original, just sort of bathroom set. So he's pretty clumsy. He's got his big club. He could smash the sink. His face print is very cursed. He looks like this kind of awful, like dead zombie looking kind of thing. So the face is not the most accurate, but the body is actually really pretty accurate, especially in terms of scale. He maybe could have been a little bit taller, but in relation to the kids, I think this is great. He's got these awful like lumpy wart things all over his legs, and he's got these super long kind of gangly arms. So it definitely makes him look big and clumsy and stupid,
Mhm.
which is what he was in the movie.
Yeah.
It looks pretty awful, actually. It looks like
Yeah.
horrible to look at.
Yeah,
but
this
it's,
one's sort of weird. His code is 41983. It's not like an HP code, but he's listed as a minifigure, so I don't know why he's got a strange number like that.
Dermatologist appointment is much needed for this.
Yeah. Like I said, we've got a bunch
It's a
of
rough
naked
guy.
trolls, so if you want like a cheap one, you can get him that way. If you want to get him with his cloth pieces, which always get lost or torn or thrown away, he's going to run you in like the $40 range.
a little more expensive with his accessories. Okay.
Yeah, just because that stuff gets lost all the time.
Yeah, the the naked trolls.
Who doesn't want a
Yeah.
naked troll?
Yeah.
Find it at atlbrick.com.
And still the only version of this we've got. I mean, we've gotten a modern version of the bathroom, but it was from, a different scene from the second one, not the first one. So we've never seen this recreated again. I think if we ever did get it again, they would probably do it more like they did Grop, maybe, as sort of a supersized minifigure or something built out of sand blue parts.
or
Get a
maybe
big
like,
fig.
or maybe like a Hulk.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Big fig, like you
He was,
said.
he was very tall and skinny, though. He wasn't, like, bulky like Hulk. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they do it, but I don't know if we'll see this one again anytime soon. I don't think he's exactly a
And that's
beloved
okay. That's
character.
okay with me.
Yeah.
That's okay
Yeah.
with me.
So, it's funny. In contrast to some of the other joke figures, I actually really like this one because it's just so weird.
It's very unique.
It doesn't even register as Harry Potter to me that it's so weird, but
Yeah.
it's great. That very, very cursed expression. Sand blue is a fun color to use. I could see this being used as kind of an ice troll from like Thor
Oh, yeah.
or other things. So
Oh, yeah.
the mock potential is starting to kind of
There you go.
come to the front of my mind. So I would choose to collect this, especially if they were affordable. They didn't have any clothes on. So
I would too.
Get a good deal. I'll price some naked ones.
There you go.
Give you a whole bag of
maybe
naked
after I
trolls.
finish Tron build, we can get to that. But yeah,
Naked troll mod.
a slight approval on that one. There we go. Okay,
Yeah, all right, I'll take it.
surprising.
I'm
Take
into it. Thank you, Daniel.
Surprising. Okay, I think we're on our last figures here. But this is the one that I thought was one of the more interesting from my picks. This is Albus Dumbledore, Professor Albus Dumbledore. It's one of the earlier versions. This is from 2004. It's not the earliest because he has the light flesh head, which I do like. I think that works good for Harry Potter figures. But this is HP 060. And the most notable fact about this particular version of Dumbledore is he uses light purple for his... Pretty much his entire outfit is light purple.
Interesting. Yeah.
And
Huh.
I was doing some research because I'm like, I don't hear the words light purple that often. Let me do a little color digging on Bricklink. And light purple is one of the rarest Lego colors that they actually used for things like minifigures or bricks.
Interesting.
If you think about things like sand purple or sand red, it actually is between the rarity of those two colors. It has just a few more
Wow.
pieces than sand purple at 26 pieces in existence. And that includes multiple variants for arms and legs.
Right, the whole torso, the
Yeah.
individual arms,
Two
individual
arms,
legs.
one arm, the torso without arms.
Right, yeah.
It's spreading it out very thin. But
Mhm.
so 26 parts in total. For example, sand red has 39 parts, which is also
Yeah.
extremely rare. So
Yeah.
the rarity of this color cannot be overstated. And I think that's super interesting. And the fact that he is entirely that, and in 2004, and it's just a very cool figure. He is pretty expensive for that reason. Looking at, I don't remember the exact price we have him at. I think it's like 60 or more
Oh wow.
because of that reason. And he's one of the cooler figures from that cool Harry Potter, Hogwarts Castle set from 2004.
Yeah,
so.
that second version.
Which is a neat version of that set. I don't think, maybe not the coolest, but it's one of the cooler ones. It's one of the unusual sets. So
That had some other rare figures in it too. That Trelawney, I think, is still one of the most expensive Harry Potter figures.
Exactly,
there
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah.
very, very rare figures included with this one. So it's just
Yeah.
the fact that I think this is kind of the end of Lego's very financially irresponsible time. They're just like, let's make a new color for Dumbledore alone.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that as much anymore. They have a bigger color portfolio to work with too. So
I love it.
because of that, I think this is a great figure. What do you think, Austin? I know you like Dumbledore.
I'm into it. I like
Yeah.
the exclusive stuff, like I've been saying. So
Mhm.
I'm into it. I like the light purple color and all that stuff. So
I think we'll never probably see light purple again, just
Yeah.
because of how a blip on the radar it was. But yeah. So what do you think, Daniel? You like the
I think this is
exclusivity?
cool too, for a lot of reasons that the other 2004 minifigs were cool, and it's because basically all they did to change the design of them from prior was change some of the colors around. Almost all the face prints, clothes prints and stuff stayed the same for all of Harry, Ron, and Hermione and stuff. They pretty much were just changing the face colors from yellow to light nougat, and some of the torso stuff and colors changed from old grays to new grays. And what's weird about this is he went from purple, which was the original purple color, to this weird light purple as opposed to going to the modern substitute for purple, which is dark purple.
Yeah.
So they went to this weird other obscure color, which is very unique, very strange, but like his face print is identical to the early ones with those half moon.
The torso
spectacles.
and leg prints are the same as the ones that are just from a few years prior in the regular purple color. So,
And getting the cape in that near identical match for the color, I'm sure is also really hard to find.
Yep.
That hair beard combo is still fantastic. I don't think
Seamless.
they've quite matched that to this day, but we do have a lot of better hair and hat molds going on.
Yep. Looks like a single piece, even though it's not. It's very good.
Right.
So, well,
Very nice.
double approval. I'll take it. Yay! There we go. Awesome. Yeah. Moving on. What we got,
All right.
Austin? Last figure.
My last one is Professor Quirrell, HP 011. This is
very
my
good.
favorite Quirrell because is that how you say it? Quirrell?
Quirrell.
Quirrell.
Yeah,
Something
close
like
enough.
that.
Close enough. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you really want to say it right, it's Quirrell.
All right.
Moving on.
Yeah, that is true though.
Yes.
Yeah, factual. So he has a very cool
Ooh.
dual-sided printed head. If I'm not mistaken, this is one of the first ones that they
He was
did.
the first, yeah.
Was the first, yes.
Wow.
I mean, it looks pretty mean. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
That
They
looks.
They beat Star Wars to
terrifying.
the punch on that one.
Yeah.
Star Wars had, the first molded heads, but Harry Potter had the first dual-sided.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think it does a great job representing that just like scary, gruesome face of Voldemort on the back in the movie that you see it and you're like, whoa, yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Mhm.
Other than that, the figure's pretty simple. It's really the Voldemort printed on the back that makes me really like this figure a lot. So
Yeah.
The hidden surprise is what captures your attention there, right? So that's cool.
It's not the most accurate face on the back, but it's definitely scary. And I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
they continued to use that design at least through 2004, because I think the glow-in-the-dark Voldemort heads had that same... He's got this weird kind of like wispy-looking
Yeah.
Mhm.
trail things on the side
it just
of
looks
his face.
sinister. It looks like something
Yeah.
Voldemort might look like.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Scary.
So
Does it
I think-
have the red eyes, too? What color
yeah,
is
it
I
that?
does.
think
It's
so.
actually it has green in there too.
Yeah,
And the
because in the
sla-
books he
the
was always
slotted
described
nostrils.
as having red eyes, and then in the movies they kind of missed that.
It veered
Yeah.
away from it. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what? Tying into that, I think that was it the case where they were making the sets and they didn't have the movies to necessarily work off of.
These ones should have been out by the time.
And
they
this
got
was
movies
this was
to
the first
reference.
movie.
Okay.
Quirrell was in the first movie.
Gotcha.
So it
So
was
they did have movie
I don't
references.
know. Maybe that first wave was prior.
Because
They might have only gotten concept arts or stuff.
I feel like we were talking about how they were probably getting they were taking some inspiration from the books, maybe some from the
He
movies
did
too.
come out in
There were a lot of
2001.
inaccuracies in
Yeah.
those first ones.
So it was close enough where it could have been either way.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's very possible they could have said, well, he's described in the book as having red eyes. We're going to give him red eyes.
yeah.
And then the movie ended up not doing that.
Yep.
Anyway, great execution, and that's the original old purple that we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
too. So also
Right,
a rare
yeah.
color now,
Yeah.
but pretty cool. So
Yeah.
great figure, Austin.
Thank
All
you.
right, I've saved my best for last.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this beautiful, handsome man right here. This is the Gilderoy Lockhart HP029. Who had the lowest code number? Did you have?
I
What
think
was your?
Austin.
I had
did.
HP 11. That's
Oh,
what the
yeah.
Quirrell was.
I had 12 with Snape, so yeah.
Yeah, you got it, Austin. All right, so this is 029 from 2002. Came in the very first Chamber of Secrets set. Fantastic set. And I brought this one in from home as well. So he's in this awesome sand red color, which is
Oh, yeah.
sort of interpreting his favorite color of lilac is what he always says. He's got his lilac suits and stuff. So lilac was not a Lego color at the time.
Mm-mm.
So this was sort of their choice to represent it. And boy, are we grateful for it today, because sand red is a wicked cool color already on its own. So to get it in minifigure parts is just awesome, especially that cape. Again, getting a
That's a
cape that
pristine
matches
cape,
an
yeah.
obscure color, is really awesome to see. So he's already a great minifigure. He's got this ridiculous like swoopy hairpiece.
Charisma. I could feel
Yeah.
the charisma
This-
emanating
this-
from him right
He's
now.
got that
Awful
Riz.
grin, yeah. So just great. He's got this waistcoat thing with this really great metallic gold printing, which I think was probably pretty unusual for the time too.
Mhm.
So he's
One
he's
of the best characters in the Harry
beautiful
Potter
and
series.
perfect.
Yeah.
Out of those early Lockharts, we only got this suit and then the green one that came in the Dueling Club, which was also great. I think that one also had some metallic gold stuff on him, but this guy's just on another level. He's a little expensive just because he's
Sand Red.
both cool and also because the set he came in was pretty expensive and hard to get back then. So he's going to run you about $40 at least if you want to get him. So not awful. I'm surprised he isn't more, honestly. I would have thought he would have been like $60 or $80, but you can get him for about $40. I think we have a few of them on our website right now.
Yeah.
But he's just awesome. So, and I already know that both of you guys would want to get this one, so I don't think we even need to cover that.
I
Because
agree.
he's perfect.
I will say though, Daniel, as a compliment to this figure, first of all, fantastic. That cape is an absolutely perfect out of the box condition.
This
so-
was new out of the box.
Yeah,
So that's why
and
he's-
then secondly, I as much as I was hyping up light purple, I think sand red is aesthetically a cooler looking color.
Yeah.
So credit to that as well. It's
Unfortunately,
very
we
cool.
never got any minifigure head pieces in sand red, so you can't make like a monochrome sand red minifigure. Unfortunately, the closest you can get is one of those battle droids. From
Yeah,
Star Wars.
well, imagine just like wiping off the print of that torso too. I couldn't
Right.
do it.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know, man.
You'd have to find one that's already in really rough shape to warrant doing
That'd be
that.
That would
terrible.
be painful.
Yeah. Oof.
Anyway, but a bunch of amazing figures and a bunch of great opinions and takes overall. I mean, I'm here, so there's a little bit of a mixture there. But thank you guys
It's all
for
right.
joining
we'll
me.
get you to learn a little more.
You
I
gave
think
me a
Daniel's
pass.
the real
Doing
expert.
good.
I try to be an expert, and then Mark is just over here doing it.
I'm a very casual
Austin
fan.
knows his stuff. He knows more about the books, I think, than I do. Because
You were quoting books here.
I haven't
yeah.
read
I
most of them
try,
since I was
yeah.
pretty young.
But then you have the knowledge of the colors and the pieces. You know,
That's true.
so
You get the Lego knowledge.
we
Yeah.
bring it together and
Austin's
create.
one of the only ones I can talk about Harry Potter with here at the store.
Well, we're all trying to learn a little more as we go along.
We'll
so
get you
hopefully- Yeah, but
We're starting a movement.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
Well,
right.
thank you guys for your knowledge of Harry Potter, sharing it with us and the viewers here. We really appreciate
Yeah,
you guys.
No problem.
And thank you all for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, let
Please
us know
do, yeah.
how our picks went. Did you guys think the experts had it, or was I right with my Dobby? You know, let us know.
No.
Well, you said or, meaning that one of those was true and one was not.
It's
so.
yeah.
I think we all know.
semantics.
which-
Anyway, so, yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
See you, everybody.
Thank you.